I know that there are people who are like, Yahoo! About the CEO, which his name is Brian Thompson, by the way, because I feel like everyone talks about Luigi, but no one talks about Brian Thompson.
Why would you want to put out Brian Thompson?
Well, he's the victim in this. Well, great. Now I'm getting canceled. Now I'm gonna get canceled for sure. I don't think in his mind he's like, I want to kill some people, right? Versus.
I'm definitely gonna have to disagree with you there.
That's crazy to me.
I have to disagree with you there.
That's the problem where I think if we villainize people and say this person actually does want to harm someone, that's where I have a problem.
If you actually take the 1%, the top 1%, they actually have more wealth than the 99% combined.
Yeah, I know that.
That's horrible.
Sure. Someone's got to manage the money somehow. You think I can do it? I'm broke. There's a reason why I'm broke. It's not because
I'm going to give you more stats because you don't feel bad at all. Okay, so I'm going to keep going.
Listen, imagine we're playing Monopoly. And while we're playing Monopoly, I just land on every property. And I have the money to buy every property.
Okay, go ahead. I'll let you go finish.
Okay. You keep landing on my properties and you keep having to pay me and you're broke and you're poor. Is it my fault that you have to pay me?
Here's why that analogy is garbage. It's dog. Okay.
We live in a capitalist society. The point of capitalism is to collect. The game is collecting money. I ain't mad at them for playing the game. I'm mad at the game. So maybe let's change some of the rules.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to argue with you so hard. Okay, you're saying get mad at the game. Who makes the game? Oh my God.
Was it good?
That apple juice was disgusting.
I don't know, man. I love apple juice.
Yeah?
I haven't drank apple juice in so long.
Why did we do that?
It warms your body.
You explain to the people why we did that.
Because we want to be more entertaining. So we thought this is the way to do it.
Last week, we were boring.
Oh, yeah.
I'll say it. George said it.
Wait, hold on. Not last week. Last week was the Christmas episode, and I thought that was fire.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm talking about just one of these episodes. We were boring. And 2 episodes ago. Yeah. That's what it was.
And now 3 espresso shots in, we won't be boring anymore.
There's many more than just espresso shots. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, learn things that you want to learn.
I got a fun fact for you.
Hope you learned something like that. I hope you not.
I'm an idiot. If you have any questions, don't ask us.
Welcome to the Elitist Experts Podcast. I'm your co-host, Justin.
And I'm your co-host, George.
And every week we try to cure our ignorance by learning as much as we can and sharing it with you guys, whether it's right or wrong.
And hopefully you get something out of it.
Hopefully. What are you talking about today, George?
Today I am talking about Luigi.
Mario's brother.
Well, more along the lines of the person who unalived the United CEO.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Still just as beloved as Mario brother.
One of the things I'll talk about. I'm surprised his brother Mario's not coming into the mix.
That's very interesting. Well, guess what?
What are you talking about?
You know what
today?
was so great about when you texted me and you said you wanted to talk about that?
What?
I already have topics lined up, right?
Okay.
And I was going to talk about this regardless, but it just fits so perfectly that I was happy that you texted me that you're going to talk about Luigi. Because you know what I'm going to talk about?
What?
Why billionaires shouldn't exist.
This is going to be so bad.
There was such a good timing. I love that you picked this subject, George.
The reason why this podcast will not end well is because I'm going to look such like a MAGA Republican because I don't agree with your topic.
I know you don't agree, but guess what? I'm going to try my best to convince you why billionaires shouldn't exist.
And in return, can I try to convince you that billionaires should exist?
Sure.
All right.
At the end, I'm talking about it, but at the end we can debate.
Perfect.
Okay.
I'm down. And as always, guys, before we start the podcast, I do want to share some news that's happening around the world. We want to try to educate ourselves a little bit and not just be in our own little bubble.
Yeah.
And if you like it, also leave a like, or you don't have to. Do whatever you want. Right?
If you like it, leave a like.
That was smooth, right?
Yeah, that's what the like button's for, George.
So the reason why I'm drinking my coffee and why I'm already 3 espresso shots in.
3?
3. There was a study that came out.
I'm going to pray for your heart, but go ahead.
Dude, what heart? I just told you billionaires should exist.
That's very true. Okay, what happened
last
to this?
week's episode, bro? My heart grew 3 times 3 its size and then shrank back down.
The Grinch.
The Grinch, baby.
Memories. Remember? TBT.
TBT.
What about this news?
The study said that drinking coffee, no more than like 3 cups a day, can actually improve your health.
Yeah, you've passed that significantly.
No, espresso doesn't count as...
Hey, one espresso shot is not a cup of coffee, right?
Yeah, it's less.
Oh, it's less.
If you see it.
For real?
Yeah, it's less
caffeine. I thought it was more caffeine.
It's just more condensed. Actually.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So I learned that this week. This one was a little wild. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I learned from the news is that Poland is essentially the UK or like Europe, Texas.
As in guns?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're moving on from coffee.
We're moving on from coffee. Okay, just so you know.
I was confused. Poland is the Europe's Texas in that they want to shoot guns everywhere they go.
So now it's mandatory to take shooting lessons in school.
Oh, they're taking the
Poland.
youths. Okay. They're starting from the beginning.
Starting at 13 years old, you are going to be trained.
Not bad. Not bad.
Which, to be honest, if you really think about where we are in society, like we live in the United States, we're very happy, blah, blah. You know, they have some not so nice neighbors, you know? Some of their neighbors might be knocking a little too much. Like, leave me alone, you know?
Yeah. And the correct response to someone knocking on your door is...
just answer the Ring doorbell. Leave the package at the door. Leave the package at the door. We'll review.
Sure,
you know?
Sure. Okay.
But that's crazy to me, dude.
So what you found in it was Poland's like number of guns that they are owning, or you're saying they're Texas because they're now teaching youths gun control or gun usage?
They're Texas because of the one, they're teaching youths the how to assemble, disassemble, clean, and use pew-pews.
Okay.
Right? So that's one. But also, apparently, they just buy everything from the U.S. military.
Okay, that's why.
Yeah.
They're coming to New Texas because of us.
Yes.
We're supplying them Texas.
Oh, we're shipping Texas to them.
We're shipping Texas over to them. Oh, okay. That's
next thing you know, they're gonna have the best steaks. It's gonna be.
You know what's crazy? It's like probably it's not even shipping guns. We're just shipping literal Texans to be living in Poland.
I can't tell the difference.
And they've changed the whole entire society.
Last piece of news.
Okay.
Because I genuinely want to ask you if you will do this with me.
Oh, you know what? When you say stuff like that, you've asked me to do so many crazy things. I get scared.
This is cool.
Don't start off the sentence like that. There's not a lot of things I would do with you.
I think you do this one.
I don't know. Go ahead.
Would you participate with me?
See, I don't like the start of that sentence. I don't like the start of that sentence.
You're my co-host. We do everything together.
Ew.
Imagine if we recorded it, it'd be awesome.
What? Okay, let's ease into it. Okay.
Whoa.
Pause. Resume. Ease into it.
Pause.
What do you want us to do together?
March 29, 2025. We can participate in a real life hunter's exam. So hold on. For those of you who don't know, the hunter's exam is based on an anime where it's called Hunter x Hunter, where you have to pass these insane trials in order to get a hunter's license and basically a really cool person. So there is an organization in the United States of America who took it upon themselves to say, hey, we're going to have a real life hunter's exam.
Yeah.
And it's like the actual show. Mm-hmm. So the first one or the first test is going to be an endurance test where you just go on a run and they don't tell you when to stop.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is going to be a game of deception. Mm-hmm. Where you have to like try and trick your person.
Okay.
Second one's a labyrinth where you have to like figure out these puzzles and like try to work your way through a maze.
Okay.
And then you have to play assassin. You're not going to actually assassinate anybody.
Okay.
You're just going to try to like take their tags essentially.
Yeah. That's
just like you do in the show.
The fun game. Okay.
And then finally is one-on-one combat to get your hunter's license.
Oh, okay. So you want me and you, 2 30-year-olds, to join a class of 15-year-olds trying to get their hunter's exam or license to do what with it?
If you saw this website, These are really, I'm pretty sure these are like 40-year-olds who are organizing.
So you
this.
say you 2 30-year-olds want to join a bunch of 40-year-olds who live in basements to try to get our license to do what with it?
Have a hunter's license. It's a real life hunter's license. We get to join the hunter's database that has and potential future missions. So they will assign us.
Yeah, I'm going to wait for the Naruto's exam. That's what I'm going to wait for. You can go ahead and take this one.
Man, all right. When I get my hunter's license, bro.
Yeah.
I'm going to unlock my nen and you're going to.
Oh, you're going to unlock your nen. Then your girl's going to leave you and then no one's going to respect you.
Okay, so
all right.
We're not here to have fun. Let's talk about Luigi.
Okay, woohoo! Where are we going?
I mean, as a lot of Americans are saying right now, Yahoo!
Who is Luigi?
Luigi, let me see if I can pronounce his name correctly. Mangione.
Oh, okay. You don't have to do it in the accent.
You have to. You have to say Mangione. Otherwise, it doesn't count as a
all right, for the rest of this episode, you got to say it like that.
Okay, so anyway, Luigi Mangione.
Okay.
Is a 26-year-old male who, and by the way, we have to do this to cover ourselves legally. Whenever you say anything, you have to say allegedly.
Okay, allegedly.
Yeah, so I'm not trying to get canceled off the spot, or I'm not trying to have the podcast shut down.
Okay,
right?
okay.
So he allegedly is the person that unalived the United CEO.
Okay.
Now, I did a little bit of research on this guy, and this dude seems like he had a very good life.
Yeah. He seemed very nice.
He is 26 years old. He has a master's in computer science. Sorry, I already said 26. I know. I get it. Let me roast me before you.
I didn't say anything.
My bad.
I didn't say anything.
Said my bad.
My bad. Maybe my body language showed you, but I didn't verbally say anything out loud.
Your eyebrows say it all, dude. So he's a well-off kid.
Okay. How old is he?
Hey, don't make mistakes on this podcast. Let me tell you. You make a mistake on this podcast.
I'm curious.
You know what the funny part is? The internet will let you know. Apparently, everybody likes to remind us when we do something wrong.
Okay.
So he's 26 years old. I gotta say it because you threw me off. He attended the University of Pennsylvania. His parents, his family come from an upper middle class family. He just had it all. And it seemed like such a strange, like there's a lot of conspiracy theories as to why he would be the one to do this, right?
I don't know about conspiracy theories.
What do you mean?
I think it was straightforward on why he did what he did, but go ahead.
No, so that's the thing. I didn't want to cover too much on what happened because I think at this point, most people know what happened. I want to talk about like different.
Yeah, why it happened.
Why it happened. Sure. So there's a lot of theories.
I don't know. That's where we disagree. From what I've read, it's not a theory. There's a direct reason why he did what he did.
Why do you think that is?
It's again, he dealt with the medical. I think it was his mom or something. Got denied for healthcare, and he also was dealing with like health issues.
So he himself actually had surgery.
Okay.
He suffered from a surfing accident. I'm like surfing.
Surfing's. Oh, see, now we just lost all our surfing viewers.
Yeah, none of them because we're in the Midwest.
All in the water right now. They just turned off.
They're trying to drown themselves from listening to this podcast.
But surfing's dangerous.
Surfing's dangerous, apparently.
Don't try to make it look like it was a lame sport.
Bro, it's a literal cushion. Everything's around you. Even if you fall off, you're falling in water.
It's an actual sport, unlike pickleball. And you pickleballers.
Hey, man, don't be talking smack about my pickleball, all right?
Well, okay, surfing accident.
So he had a surfing accident.
Okay.
And he had spinal surgery. So there's records of him kind of like sharing these images with people and like, just like anybody else, right? Like if you injure yourself, you're in your community, you're talking to people, you're showing them. I mean, the way that I have my broken leg, right? I show everybody the x-ray.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
everyone's seen it.
Everyone's
heard the story.
And if you haven't seen it, here's an image of it here.
Nope. Justin, don't do it.
I hate that you edit this. So it looked painful. I mean, the dude has 3 screws into his spine.
Okay.
And it seems like he was going through his own journey of pain management.
Okay.
Based on what I've been researching, it seems like he was taking psychedelics, things like shrooms and other drugs that aren't regulated in any way to manage his own pain.
Because he wasn't getting provided the correct healthcare?
No, this guy's rich. He has plenty of money to get medical treatment as he wishes. There is no issue.
I'm going to have to double check that.
Go ahead.
Because what's the point if he's so rich in the US, which supports private healthcare and you can get the best healthcare? Why would he end up doing what he did?
And that's one of the points that I wanted to make. And maybe, so this is going to be a little bit different. We're going to talk about a little bit about the drug problem in the United States, right? Luigi Mangione, the same kind of person.
You know, it's funny because it's a serious topic, but when you say his name like that, you lose all seriousness.
Dude, I don't know. This podcast, we try to keep things light. We want to have a good time.
Like, I know, but I just find it funny. But go ahead.
Mid-serious topic about.
Yeah.
But he strikes me as the same kind of guy who would go on and say how, how we have a drug problem in the United States, how we over medicate people with opioids and things like that, which I genuinely agree with. Okay. Right. But then he also goes and takes these crazy psychedelics, mushrooms, drugs that can literally warp your brain, untested, unregulated. You have no idea like how it's going to affect you mentally, physically. I feel like it's a bit of a hypocrisy.
Interesting.
Do you disagree?
Wait, say that one more time. It's not because for me, it sounds like you're trying to paint him kind of crazy.
I'm not saying that he's crazy, but within the last 6 months of leading up to this event, he has shown that he wasn't in the best state of mind. His own family was looking for him. He fell off the face of the earth. No one could find him for anywhere. People would reach out to them. He'd ignore them. He started acting weird. He started creating he was a little bit unstable. And to me, I'm not saying that he was crazy, that he is crazy, but there's a certain thing that happens. Not that I would know, right? But once you take a drug, there's a certain part of your brain that gets unlocked that you can't lock back up.
Okay. Now you're making an assumption there. You're making an assumption there.
I'm basing it off of a hypothetical experience that I may or may not have had.
But then also just because it happened hypothetically maybe to you, doesn't mean that it actually happened to him.
I agree. But I also talked to a bunch of hypothetical people who have experienced hypothetical things similar.
Yeah, but you can't, I just was specifically with medications, because I mean, there's a lot of people, especially like vaccines, who are like, oh, in my case, vaccines cause this, so it must be that this is the rule for everyone.
Right. And I don't want to argue and say that like drugs are bad, psychedelics are bad. Like, I'll let you come up with your own determination on those things. No one person reacts the same way to anything, right? You got to figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is this kid who seems to be pretty well-rounded, well-educated, well-off, has his life together, has a job, is living a fairly normal life, all of a sudden has this injury, starts taking psychedelics, starts maybe altering his state of mind a little bit.
See, I definitely didn't do as much research as you do. Yeah. So let me preface with that, right? But okay, you're telling me that he's well off, and you tell me he's well educated. You tell me he has an accident, and for some reason he starts taking psychedelics. Mm-hmm. What is the reason why he started taking psychedelics? Just because he thought he could heal himself?
Again, that I couldn't find. To me, it just seems like he was the kind of guy that wanted to overcome his back pain without having to resort to medical drugs.
I was under the impression, and that's why he specifically went for the United Healthcare CEO, that he couldn't get the healthcare that he needed. He's been denied, because that's like everyone's trying to tell, like, we've been denied said healthcare by the United Healthcare because they didn't deem that it was enough, or like they make the decisions. So there's a bunch of stories coming out of like United Healthcare said no to me because they didn't think I was sick enough for this or sick enough for that. And so what I've assumed is that happened to him, and he's angry and frustrated, and so he took it out on the CEO.
I wouldn't say from based on. I also read his manifesto, which is a short little 2-page.
I heard there's many manifestos. I read one.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I put a pretty reliable one. I don't know. It's the one that the police released when he was caught. So it was only a half page or something like that.
Yeah. Well, what was the tone of it?
Honestly, the dude was like, yeah, I'm not the one to make this judgment call. I don't know enough to fully debate the topic, But like, it's time for like Americans to like stand up for their belief type of thing, or like fight back against the machine kind of tone.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hold on.
I don't know if I read that one, dude.
The first sentence was like, to the law enforcement, I'm sorry that like you have to go through this.
Okay, so we did read the same manifesto, but it was not that tone of like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I
promise you that like the last couple sentences, he literally goes, I'm not the one. This topic, when he starts talking about insurance and just healthcare in the United States as a whole, he literally says at the end, this topic is too complex for me to be the one to like represent it or to like put it forward or whatever. I knew something had to be done.
I've read it again, ignorance. I thought it wasn't so much that he didn't know what he was talking about. He didn't have the knowledge. It was the fact that it was so complex. Why put it out in an entire manifesto? Like, it's insane to try to educate or try to explain why he did what he did.
So one of the other things that I saw was, this is really funny, kind of, for me. You ever heard of a social media platform called Goodreads?
Oh, that's for books, I think.
Yes. It's literally a place for people to go and review books.
Okay.
And this guy was a big reader. Again, very educated. He read a lot and left a lot of book reviews.
Okay.
So one of the books he reviewed was
How to Get Away with Murder?
Sort of.
No, for real.
Actually. It was
for dummies.
The biography of the his name of the Unabomber.
Oh, okay.
You know who that is?
I think I've heard of him. Yeah.
Okay. So the Unabomber was a dude that was not that far back in the day, but back enough in the day that I don't remember the date. And his whole thing was he thought technology was bad. And he created these explosives to try to shut down essentially the infrastructure of technology because it's making us terrible human beings and it's a way of getting enslaved.
Okay.
Back on it, maybe he wasn't wrong, but whatever. I'm not going there.
You know what?
Right. But he then reads that book and leaves a review, basically leaving undertones and talking about the pharmaceutical company as a very similar, or not pharmaceutical, the health insurance companies as very similar to these tech companies who are benefiting it off us.
Yeah.
And he left the same tone, at least in my opinion, that he's saying insurance companies are these terrible infrastructures and we as a people have to take them down.
Are you putting your personal opinion in this, or are you just giving facts?
No. I promise you, this is like, go read it was a page long
I'm not asking if what you just said. I was asking so I can ask questions. Are you willing to put your personal opinion out there?
Oh, yeah.
Or you just want to talk about facts?
No, I'll talk about
okay, so do you agree with that?
I'm a Martin Luther King Jr. fan, meaning I'm all for the change of a structure, but through peaceful means.
Interesting.
Now, I know that there are people who are like, Yahoo! About the CEO, which his name is Brian Thompson, by the way, because I feel like everyone talks about Luigi, but no one talks about Brian Thompson.
Why would you want to put out Brian Thompson?
Well, he's the victim in this. Well, great. Now I'm getting canceled. Now I'm going to get canceled for sure.
Oh, no. Hey, I take the opposite stance from George. Hey, this conservative guy over here.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
I want to take this moment to retire from professional podcasting.
I'm just kidding.
I want to apologize for the thing that I did that I'm going to do.
Okay, no. So you talk about Brian Thompson. And
all I'm saying is that doing something through violent means, I'm not going to say good or bad. Like, do I think Brian Thompson was a good guy? I mean, probably not. But to classify him as an evil human being who I'm going to take justice into my own hands and off somebody, I'm like, if you take that concept and apply it to our society, a lot of things fall apart.
Yeah.
The second that you start saying, I have to take matters into my own hands and start.
Agreed. And here's going to be something controversial.
Oh, I love controversy.
Like, I am with you on nonviolence.
Cool.
But I got to ask myself, what change will be brought if we continue nonviolence against the 1%?
One, let's be very clear. We don't condone any kind of violence on this show in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, for sure.
Awkward. That's a tough one for me because I do recognize that the greatest revolutions that happened in our country, right?
In the world,
were not peaceful ones.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we don't live in such a world at the moment, at least not that I believe.
What do you mean we don't live in such a world?
To start a movement or to start you're trying to basically topple a system, essentially.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know.
That's the whole point of a revolution.
You're saying we don't live in a time where that is possible?
I'm saying this very specific situation.
Yeah.
Where if you want to change a system, he's not the one to do it. He didn't do it. He targeted one person, and it was...
I wouldn't say that he is the person to do it, but again, I don't know what the future will hold. Maybe it does spark any change. It gets the conversation going. Look at how many people are talking about it and the reasons why. It
made people unite over the fact that the insurance in the United States is broken. That a lot of people go...
The healthcare system
is broken. But also, I do believe that actually, I don't know. I wish we had somebody that we knew that was in insurance that we can like get on the podcast and talk more about.
No, because we don't have friends who don't have souls. Like all our friends have souls.
Not me.
Like, no, you've lost your soul to podcasting. You like social media.
I know. That's why you should remember to like leave a like, comment, and subscribe.
God, please no.
If you're enjoying this,
no, I just man, I'm conflicted for sure. I'm conflicted for sure on this because I don't know, I, especially with the research I did for Billionaires, I don't know what can be changed to balance out the top rich people and the people who are middle class low.
So I don't see it as a rich poor thing, I guess, in terms of health insurance. It's either coverage or not coverage, because you can usually get coverage from your employer. There's a lot of ways to get, like, even the government steps in if you don't have coverage and can help you in some capacity. The only thing that I think here's a concept. I don't know. I'm going to sound real Republican right now.
Okay. Because I'm
there's
very against what you're saying
on health. No matter how much insurance you have, no matter how much money you have, no matter how much things you throw at a problem, there's only so much health you as a human being can have. You can't solve every problem just because you go to a doctor, right? At some point.
Oh, God.
As I said,
oh, God, that's horrible.
I gave you.
That's horrible.
I gave you the warning.
That is horrible.
I gave you the warning.
So you're saying the guy, Luigi, who broke his back, capped at his health?
No. I'm saying that there are limitations on what money can do for you.
I mean, yeah, you can't live forever.
Right. But everyone
should. What is that cap you're talking about?
Everyone in this country should receive the medical treatment that they need. I think me and you can agree on that.
Yeah, but they get denied. They say no.
Right. And I think United is a terrible company that doesn't, that actually has a much higher denial rate than anybody else.
Yeah, but the rich make those decisions of why we get denied because they want to save money.
You're getting into a topic that I know me and you just don't agree on.
And I'm going to get into it.
I'm going to save it for your end.
No, but I'm saying that's the reason why I'm saying, like, you can't just say, oh, it's not the rich. It's just the health insurance company. It's the top people who are making that health insurance company that set the direction of how the company works, right? So if they want to just look at numbers, they're going to set certain pathways and stuff like that. It's like a Spirit and Frontier. I saw this video of how they actually incentivize their employees to look at people and make them pay for their bags because it's not, right? Like, ooh, there's a prize. So if you get someone and you make them pay, you get $10, $20 or whatever. It's the top rich people who are making the direction of this company money incentivized.
And those people, right? Someone has to make decisions, correct?
Okay.
Right? If you have those jobs, you are going to be rich. Yes or no?
Okay. Oh, yes, but you don't have to be as rich as they are right now.
I mean, this guy wasn't a billionaire.
It doesn't matter. You know how rich he is?
He's a rich guy.
Shut.
My point is everyone should have equal access to healthcare.
Okay.
I'm for that. I'm for people.
Is he?
I am. Like I said, how we make it happen is important.
Okay.
And what I'm saying is this particular situation was not the way to do it, in my opinion. The guy, like I said, I think he's more of a
What was the alter? We have to address. I agree that it wasn't the way that it should be because again, we both agree on nonviolent, but we have to address the root problem.
Yeah.
Why did are people not getting the care that they should be?
That's why we have such a vigorous legal system that allows us to fight and combat each other in the court with our minds.
Interesting.
So that's my.
But then you go against these insurance companies who are, they have all the money to fight you. So what's the point of you don't even have the funds to do it the legal way?
There are people out there who create movements like this, not this guy, but there are like genuinely people who want to do good and fight through.
No, I agree with you. Actually, I'm talking about my topic, but how much power do you have against the people who have money?
You have a lot of power.
Even if you find good people who will fight against you in legal courts, it still costs money to fight people in courts.
I understand, but look at Luigi. He still had power, right?
What do you mean?
He had the power to do something. He did something wrong, in my opinion, but he still had the power to do it. Like, no matter where you are in the class system. By the way, he was rich, so I don't know why we're even comparing him, but
he was rich. He still got denied.
I don't think he was denied any coverage. His mom was just in a lot of pain, and United denied some of her.
You just said denied.
Oh, you're right. But her, not him.
I thought it was mom incentivized.
It was mom.
And in the back, which is an extra added, like, I'm still not getting like healthcare.
No, he was fine. Yeah. She was not fine.
I know. I thought the main thing was his mom. And so, yeah, people are getting denied. You can fight with good intentions, with good people. But when you have built millions of dollars who can find the best lawyers who have the best knowledge, it's like,
here's why I think
the odds are stacked against you.
Here's why I won't use that specific example like for his argument is because his mom and dad are their family back in like 1977 and started this massive health company, which is very ironic in my opinion.
That's hilarious.
They provide some kind of service for like elderly care and blah, blah. And now it's a giant company, right?
Okay.
So these people had no issue that if she needed care, even if insurance was denying her claim or whatever, there's no doubt in my mind that they were able to pay for it outright. It's just her, like whatever pain that she was in, whatever it is, like doctors could not help her. Now I understand that left a salty taste in his mouth.
Okay, I'm getting two different stories.
Okay.
Which one again, I didn't do research. Which one are you firmly believing in? One, that they've denied healthcare access to her, like you won't
yes,
be, or two, the doctors just couldn't help her.
Well, I'm saying they probably did deny her claims.
Okay.
But even if they did deny her claims, right? She is wealthy enough that she can pay for any kind of services or medical treatment that she needs. And thus, if she was in pain, it was because there are just limitations on what modern medicine can do.
I see. I have to ask, again, I didn't do research, but I have to ask myself, if you're so wealthy enough that you could afford it, say you got denied, but you have to shell out $100,000 and you could do it.
Yep.
It's no problem. And your life is at risk. You would do it. You're telling me that they're wealthy enough where it wouldn't affect their lives drastically.
No, if you saw how rich they are.
Then why was it a problem? You're saying because he started taking psychedelics, that those psychedelics unlocked something from his brain, and now he viewed healthcare system differently and was angry about it and drove him to do that.
Right. This is the one thing that I think that I hope our audience gets out of this, right? There is no one like rationale for why someone does something, right? We don't make our decisions based on, oh, this happened, hence I'm going to do this and that's it, right? There's a like multitude of different experiences, different events, different things that come into play to make us have the decisions that we make. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure his experience in the medical system, his mom's experience, and in combination with these drugs, everything just kind of snowballed, and like one thing on top of another, on top of the other. And he was also, like, again, an educated kid who learned about all these different systems. His parents were in the health field, so he himself just had a vast knowledge of how broken the system was. I'm not saying that the system's not broken.
Yeah, Bob, I'm wondering what your thoughts are, because from my knowledge, I thought it was a rebellion against him getting denied, right? But it sounds like he had the money.
Yeah.
And so what you're telling me is it got led him kind of going crazy.
What I'm telling you is I have no effing clue.
Oh yeah. What's your thoughts though?
But my thought is there's like the dude's just like not stable. Like he was in the last 6 months.
So you go on the line of like not stable.
Yeah.
Because the psychedelics, his mind.
Life experiences. Like I said, once you get into this, train of thought of like someone is evil, I think that is a true like pinnacle of can drive someone to do something extreme. Once you start looking at somebody as like for example, the CEO, right?
Yeah.
Do I think he was a good person? Probably not. I think he was probably a dude who works in the system that he's in, which is to generate money. And he created rules and regulations based on the system that he's in to try to generate.
What's the system he created? That's not the system that he just put in.
Don't make it sound like insurance is like some very simple thing where he can go in and say, aha, I am now supreme overlord. Like, no, there are regulations. There's government oversight. There's a bunch of things that are in place.
Here's what I'm trying to say is like social media, YouTube, Facebook, whatever it may have you, is now a system to create money.
Sure.
Right. Instead of a tool.
Right.
We talked about that last 2 weeks ago. In the same vein of like insurance and healthcare system should be a system where healthcare is the foundation of it.
So I think this will actually be a perfect transition into your segment, but we live in a capitalist society. We live in a society where we prioritize the dollar over all else. I'm not saying that's good or bad. I haven't really like done enough to form my own opinion about that. But because we prioritize the dollar first, this man, CEO, is making his policy, his changes, not based on this thought of I'm evil. I want to harm other human beings. It's I want to, increase our bottom line and do these things and get praised for the system that I'm in and blah, blah, blah. I don't think in his mind, he's like, I want to kill some people. Right. Versus.
I'm definitely gonna have to disagree with you there.
That's crazy to me.
I have to disagree with you there.
That's the problem where I think if we villainize people and say this person actually does want to harm someone, that's where I have a problem.
Not so much that he has like, hey, I want to kill people, but the fact that willingly I'm gonna prioritize the dollar menu over people's lives, whether or not you acknowledge that you're killing people or not, it's still really, really bad.
There's a difference, and there's a reason why the legal system differentiates between first-degree murder and like manslaughter.
Yeah. Okay. Intent
matters,
which is cool. But just because he's not outright saying, "Sure, I want to kill people," or just because he's not telling everyone, "Hey, dude, we should kill people. We should keep people." The decisions you make, the actions you make, you have prioritized the dollar sign over people dying.
Okay,
and you have not.
Sure.
Ethics and morals at the top. I know for sure when you make that much money, ethics and morality needs to be thrown out the window. You can't be making decisions, but because that's get thrown out the window, that's when evil gets set in.
Sure. And I'm with you again.
No, you're not.
Good guy here.
No, you're switching. Don't switch up on me, George.
Good world. Huh?
Don't switch up on me, bro.
I care about everyone.
No, don't you dare switch up on me.
I'm not, but I'm saying the second that we start looking at other human beings as evil and saying the only way that we can stop them is through our own physical violence, through our own physical force.
I didn't say that.
I know. I'm saying that's where this situation led to. That's where I draw a line. That's where I say that's wrong.
Okay, before the action part, that's where I draw a line. Like, he's evil.
I don't think he's evil.
Oh, you know why he's evil?
Because he's got millions and millions of dollars.
Money is the root of all evil.
Pray, Justin. I pray that you become the wealthiest man in the world. You'll never know. You'll
never know.
Oh, no.
You'll never know, because even if I became the wealthiest, I mean, it's impossible because I would be giving away my money.
You know how I know that's not true?
Why?
Because you told me that the second you become wealthy enough, you're leaving this podcast.
Oh, maybe then you'll know. Maybe. Damn it. I gave away my secret. All right, George, maybe you'll know. Where did Justin go?
This is my announcement. I'm leaving the podcast.
You don't ever hit me up no more. No, I was inspired a few weeks ago where we had this debate off podcast on why billionaires should exist. Oh, you're shaking your head already.
Oh, because I don't look bad enough on this podcast already, bro.
Well, we had this debate, and me and George took separate sides. George called me a socialist. He called me weak, called me a beta man, and so I'm here to debate why I'm not those four things.
And I'm here to tell you that he is.
And yeah, I want to talk about the wealth disparity of the world, not even the US.
Ooh, no. That's not fair.
What do you mean that's not fair?
The rest of the world is poor as hell, dude.
That's absolutely
Yo,
fair.
I've seen those videos, dog.
That's absolutely. This guy. That's sad. That one sad song. In the arms. All right, that's so bad. Okay, hold on. So I'm going to talk about a lot of statistics that I'm going to throw at you.
Oh, math.
But I want to
get
plug,
it, bro. You're Asian. Like, chill out.
Damn it. I want to plug something, and I'm very not for plugging. But this place, I got almost 90% of my information.
Bleep it out. We don't plug here. Unless you're paying us.
I'm editing. It's fine.
Ah, dang it.
If you look up Oxfam, OXFAM, they are a humanitarian organization. What they do is they go out and they deliver needs, and they help even legally to fight injustice and poverty throughout the entire world. Mm-hmm. A little bit of history. They started in 1940s in the World War II, where they started as a small group giving food to women and children in Greece. Then it boomed, and they continued since 1940s to now to fight poverty and injustice. And they post a bunch of articles, and you can support them, donate. You can do all of it. You can help them out to continue to do their nonprofit work.
Oh, pay attention to me. I'm doing so many good things.
Oh my God. I know this is going to go bad. Here, we'll start off easy, though, okay?
Yeah, ease me into it, because I'm about to go in, easy. Bro.
Let's play a game.
I like games.
Top 5 billionaires on the board.
Easy.
Ching! Number 1, who is it?
Oh, number 1? Bill Gates.
Nope. Bernard Arnault. Do you know who that is?
Oh, Bernard.
Yeah. What's he do?
What's his last name again?
Arnault.
He's aeronauticals.
Oh,
he
aeronauticals.
He produces airplanes for the military.
He does. Because he flies constantly on his private jet and throws out money to all these crying babies and still has billions and billions of dollars.
Sounds like a good guy. So far, you're telling me billionaires should exist if he's giving them the crying babies.
I was lying about him throwing out the money. Okay. He keeps all the money in his plane. He owns all luxury brands. You know, they're all owned by one person in one company.
What do you mean all luxury brands?
Christian Dior. I forgot some other stuff. Like all the top expensive designer brands. They're all like usually owned by the same.
So you're telling me that like Gucci, Prada, all those companies are all owned by the same guy?
Plus Sephora. I learned that.
I thought you said luxury.
I know, right? It said all luxury brands, and then it added in Sephora. I was
also,
like, wait, hold on.
I know nothing about Sephora, so I have no idea if it's luxury or not. I just wanted to roast.
I mean, they have perfumes and makeup and all that stuff. All right. But he's number 1. He's number 1 with $233 billion.
200 and how many?
33.
Okay.
Number 2.
Bill Gates.
Elon Musk, your boy.
I was going to see my best friend.
Your best friend.
My best friend.
I thought you knew him like
who's
that.
Who's going to let me keep my job.
He has 195 billion. So that's big gap between number 1 and number 2, which I thought was kind of crazy.
Okay.
All right, number 3.
The dude from India.
Nope.
Bill Gates.
Jeff Bezos.
Jeff
Bezos with 194. 1 billion short of Elon Musk. Number 5.
A little bit short.
Or number 4.
There, Jeff. Bill Gates.
Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg with 177 billion.
Okay.
And the number 5.
If I don't get, Bill Gates.
Larry Ellison.
Frack.
Don't know who that guy is. He has 141 billion. Those are the top 5 billionaires of the entire world. Right?
I can do better.
And then I looked at the top 10. Top 10, there's a French guy. He's number 1.
Uh-huh.
There's the Indian guy that you were talking about.
Yeah, know him.
He's number 9.
Oof.
Then every other person on that top 10 richest people in the world are from the United States of America.
Let's go, baby. We're number one. We're number one. Actually, technically, we're number 2. But like in terms of volume,
80% of top 10. That's kind of crazy.
Let's go, America.
Yeah. So America leads in the number 1 most billionaires in the entire world.
What don't we lead in? What don't we lead
greed.
in?
We lead in greed. Are you proud?
Number 1 again.
Okay, number 1, 813 billionaires in the United States of America.
813 billion? Sorry.
813 billionaires.
Okay. It's not bad.
That's not bad.
Let's get those numbers up, America.
Why? We're number 1 already, George. Huh? Why do you have to get the numbers up when we're number 1 already?
Let me tell you why.
Why?
Okay? The same as the U.S. military. We spend more on the U.S. military than the next 10 countries combined. Should be the same for our billionaires.
That's horrible. But,
oh boy.
Okay, next.
If you haven't clicked off the podcast, I promise. I'll be fair.
Yeah, don't like George by this point. I don't know, man.
They're on my side.
Like him. I know they're all on your side. Next 2 countries. Who do you think has the number 2 spot and number 3rd spot for most billionaires?
I'm gonna go China.
China number 2.
I'm really good at guessing.
You're really good. Number 2 at 473.
Okay.
And then number 3.
I'm torn between the UK and Russia, just based on pure like landmass. I'm gonna go Russia.
India.
That was offensive by my part. I'm sorry, India. I should have.
India at number 3 is kind of crazy. So those are the top 3 countries with the most billionaires.
Makes sense. They're populated. They can make money off other poor people.
Yeah. So, how? Give me a number, George. How many billionaires do you think are in the world?
It doesn't matter. Money's imaginary.
Not to them. It's power. So throw out a number.
Well, there's 813 in the United States.
Yeah.
Worldwide, I'll go there's 1,600.
2,781.
Wasn't far off.
2,781 billionaires combined all their money has $42 trillion. Guess how much money is in the entire world?
It's all made up. It doesn't matter, bro.
Yes.
If they control 42 billion or 42 trillion, you're probably going to tell me that there's less than half of it. So I'll go a total of $80 trillion.
$82 trillion.
I'm a freaking beast.
Wait, that's not, you shouldn't be clapping and feeling good about it.
Bro, I own 0.000000001% of that.
George, the billionaires of the world, which I did the math, trust me, because there's 2,781 and there's 2 billion people in the world. Yeah. That's 0.000000034% of the world.
Dude,
own half the money of the entire world.
I know you said something very important right now, but I want to go back and watch the video and see if I had the same number of zeros that you just said and see if I was right.
You're wrong.
Okay. But yeah, it makes sense.
You're cool with it?
It's been like that for centuries.
It's not.
Yes, it has.
No, it's not.
Yes, it has.
I've done the research. No, it's not.
Bro.
In 1990, there was like 100 billionaires.
Okay.
It's 2,781 right now.
Yeah, but the population was smaller back then.
This guy, don't you dare say it's been like that for centuries, because in the last 10, 25 years, money for billionaires has skyrocketed.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Okay.
Nah, I won't even argue.
Okay.
I actually did an episode on this a while back where I said that it's not that there's more or less money, it's the distribution of wealth in the United States is greatly askew. Like it's going
I'm talking
way,
about the world though.
Yeah.
I stretch it out to the world.
Hey, listen, man, this podcast in the United States, that's the one I care about. Like that's
oh God. Because the US is the worst though, because we have the most billionaires.
Yeah.
The disparity between just within our nation is horrible. But in talking about the world, I learned that if you actually take the 1%, the top 1%, they actually have more wealth than the 99% combined.
Yeah, I know that.
That's horrible.
Sure. Someone's got to manage the money somehow. You think I can do it? I'm broke. There's a reason why I'm broke. It's not because
You know, I'm going to give you more stats because you don't feel bad at all. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. Do you know in the pandemic, you said we suffered, which we did. And the economy suffered, which it did. for us.
Yeah.
The economy suffered for us.
Yeah.
Guess who's it thrived for?
Oh, the rich people.
The billionaires, the rich people. It said the top 10 richest people before the pandemic started, they had 700 billion combined. Mm-hmm. When the pandemic, 2 years into the pandemic, they doubled their money. They went from 700 billion to 1.5 trillion in the pandemic when everyone else is suffering. So then you have to ask yourself, how the hell did they get more money in an economy where we're suffering?
They bought things on the low because we couldn't afford it anymore. They bought more property and became more wealthy.
So here's what happened. Law and your people.
Whoa,
your lizard people.
What do you mean by my people?
Yo, lizard people. Yeah. See?
What do you mean?
I don't know what you said. I'm sure all your government people will know what you just said. I don't know if that was a distress signal or not.
Just wait till I leave and they collapse on you.
I'm surrounded, bro. They had federal policies and things that pumped money into the market to save the economy because it was going to fail and crash because everything was closed off. Mm-hmm. Which that lined up the freaking company's pockets because they just took that money. So they just got money from the government, essentially. And then we got effed as the middle class.
Talking about SBA loans?
Not loans. It was, honestly, I saw the name of the policy. It was like something CARE Act. The article was too long. And I was like, this is too convoluted for my pea brain. I'm not well versed in law.
I'm going to call you out. You pulled a George.
Yeah.
You read the headline, bro.
No. I tried to read it. I tried to read it, but I couldn't comprehend, bro. I read it 50 million times.
I tried to be an expert, but
what I got was the government pumped money into the market, which only benefited the rich.
No. Because
go ahead.
Based on what I know, which is what you're talking about was like the CARE Act and all that stuff,
sure.
is they pumped a bunch of money into like small businesses that were struggling to survive.
Okay.
And what ends up happening is legitimate companies, right, actually have to pay back that loan. It's a very low interest rate. So like they can take their time and whatever. It hardly like affects them. But it's money that they get that they do eventually have to return to the government. So legitimate companies have to return that.
Okay.
And then companies that are illegitimate, which a lot of people, it was like one of the biggest areas of scam during the United States. People would open up a business and then collect that money and boom, disappear. And they would just collect the money from the United States government, never to be seen again.
So you're saying the rich people were able to capitalize on those loans that you're talking about and then thrived even more.
But even then there was a cap on what kind of business could apply for it. And once you like reach a certain like cap, like you could not apply for those loans.
So answer me why the top 10 richest people got doubled their money and fortune in the pandemic.
Well, to me, economics, right? So like when you have everything going on a downward spiral, when you have things taking a hit, there is somebody who is buying it on the cheap, right? So when stock is going down on something, you can buy it on the low, hoping that inevitably it goes back up, which it usually does. So they just capitalize on the fact that the market is crashing. You buy more at a cheap price because they can afford it because they have billions of dollars.
Sure.
And then years later, boom, back up.
They didn't sell so you're saying they bought all the stocks,
market value, properties, other assets. Yeah.
During the pandemic.
Yes.
When it was low.
Yes.
And so they gathered more. Oh, which I learned too. I think you were just reminding me.
You're welcome.
That in the stock market, the 1% we're talking about, the billionaires, 2,781, they own 70% of the stock market.
That makes sense.
70%.
That's messed up.
Oh, maybe this makes sense to you. The central banks put in trillions of dollars into the market.
That doesn't make sense. I don't know. I mean, it makes sense.
Again, that's when like it's convoluted and I'm like, how, please?
Too many pages. I can't read this.
Too many. This article's too long. I don't know. It boggles my mind to think the richest people doubled their money in the pandemic, which we suffered in, and to be like, oh yeah, that's cool.
So in the time that I've researched how to make money, obviously I'm not learning very well.
Yeah.
Right. But from what I've learned, it's easier to make money once you have money.
Yeah.
Once you have your first $100,000, it's much easier to make your second $100,000.
Okay.
So to me, I think that just gets easier as you make billions. So once you have billions, it's easier to make even more. You can have your money working for you.
But don't you think in the pandemic, we all should be affected by it negatively?
I mean, again, it depends on the kind of business decisions that you make, right? Like, for example, if God forbid, and I'm sorry if you experienced this during the pandemic, but let's say, for example, someone loses their job, they foreclose on their home, they're not able to, pay off their mortgage. Essentially, they have to go live somewhere else.
Okay.
So I'm a billionaire. While things are bad, I know that I can buy that piece of property that's been foreclosed on for cheap. I go in, I buy it. I am now making stupid money because I bought it for way below market value. I have people like renting it out or whatever. Now imagine that by hundreds of thousands. They're able to do it because they have the money.
I know, but here's where my problem is, where you, I guess, not ignore it, but just it's not a factor for you. The reason why I think billionaires shouldn't exist is because there's no morality and ethics at that level.
Okay. So here's where I hope I don't lose my job, right? That's not on the billionaires. That's on the U.S. government to protect its citizens.
No, I hate that too, because that's in the same vein of like when you see companies do the tariffs, the idea is like, oh, the government's job to create a system where we don't have to buy cheap stuff out of US, right? Well, it's like in the same vein, it's like, it's also the buyer's like intent and morality to be like, all right, let's not think about money. Let's reinvest in our own things.
But things don't work that way, right? When you're a buyer, when you're somebody like using your same analogy, somebody in the United States who isn't making the greatest living one way or another is not looking for the most moral product. He's not going to pay an extra $2 or $3 when he can get the same product that was made in China for less just because it's more moral or whatever.
I agree when you don't have your necessities made, or you're like of the lower class and middle class, maybe not even middle class, lower class, lower middle class. But when you get to the billionaires level, you shouldn't be still continuing to look at dollar signs and making, I mean, yes, you can make business decisions, but also have a factor of, is this ethic, moral? How is it going to impact society? You can buy all those houses for cheap because it's a good business move. But damn, what does that happen to all the people who are looking for houses?
Just imagine we're playing Monopoly. And while we're playing Monopoly, I just land on every property and I have the money to buy every property.
Okay, go ahead. Let you go finish.
Okay. You keep landing on my properties and you keep having to pay me, and you're broke and you're poor. Is it my fault that you have to pay me?
Here's why that analogy is garbage. It's dog. Okay. The game is called Monopoly, right? Which literally is monopolizing.
Yes.
The intent is to monopolize.
Correct.
So you are trying to be this mogul, and you're going to be evil. You don't care about my living. Mm-hmm. So you can't compare that in the same way of human living.
Can I actually, that is literally the point that I want to make. Hear me out before you start getting defensive. Literally think about what I'm going to say instead of just arguing. Okay.
Wait, okay.
Hold on.
Let's woo-saw. Okay.
Woo-saw.
Let's woo-saw, because maybe I'm getting defensive and now I felt
woo-saw.
Like you were getting on the attack. Let's woo-saw for 2 seconds. Woo-saw.
You're wrong.
Damn it. Go ahead.
I agree, right? The point of monopoly is monopolizing. We live in a capitalist society. The point of capitalism is to collect. The game is collecting money. I ain't mad at them for playing the game. I'm mad at the game. So maybe let's change some of the rules.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to argue with you so hard. Okay, you're saying get mad at the game. Who makes the game?
Technically, I would say...
And don't you dare say the government.
I'm not... is a major player in the game. Major player.
A major? Who's the number one major player?
Number one major player in...
This game, if you want to say, if this life is this capitalist society, who's the number one game? Who's the number one factor?
There's two. People who control the market, and then the government.
The people, number one, the people who control money.
Two.
Dictate the market.
They work hand in hand.
You can tell because look, even the government gets incentivized by the billionaires and people who are donating. Money shifts everything.
That's a great rule that personally I would love to change. The idea of lobbying and like these.
But that's what I'm saying. Like money is the number one player. Money even dictates the government.
Sure. But what I'm saying is we, the people in the United States, have a voice and we can change things.
No, because here's the thing. And we talked about it in social media addiction. People who are controlling up at the top know how to control a society. Agree or disagree?
To a degree. You can't just say that they're at that point, dude, you're a puppet and you have no autonomy and you have no like control over your own life. I refuse to believe that.
It's not that you don't have control, but when it's very stacked against you, yeah, it's very easily to not care about voting or not care about any of these, I don't know, political topics that most people only zone in on one. Like there's a reason why. That's why social media is such a tool for people who are higher up, because we can literally feed you what we want to see. That's why Russia and China like, wait, no more TikTok in the US. It's powerful.
Speaking of which, Trump might not ban TikTok, but anyway. Billionaire doing something good.
Oh.
I like the TikToks.
My whole point is money is the number one player in this game of Monopoly. And you keep saying that, Justin, we live in this nation of capitalism. I'm only going to keep it to the US. But just because we live in a capitalist society doesn't mean that we should only adhere to this system of capitalism. If I disagree with it, I would want to change it.
So I agree with you about the change, right? We'll both agree on that something needs to be different.
Yeah, yes. Fair.
Now, where we may agree or disagree is we'll definitely disagree on what needs to be changed.
True.
Okay. Now, I did a topic back in the day where we talked about money and the economy back in like post World War II era.
Yeah, I remember.
And I was telling you how there was a lot more dispersed in money, or like the money in the United States, right? More like there was a lot less super wealthy people.
Gap.
Yeah, the gap was
disparity gap was closer than it is now.
Yes, right. So we have lived in a time, in a rule where that money can be dispersed through not only the middle class, but like created upper middle class and those kinds of things. Now, somewhere along the lines, that capitalist society started inching towards like, let's have even more wealth at the top with fewer people, right? And more people kind of get pushed down. I disagree with that, right? I'm saying let's bring back a system, because it wasn't the fact, like, there are plenty of people who could have figured out how to be billionaires and
I don't know.
Collected them. You don't think so? We have 816 apparently.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot, but now, to say that's 0.0000034% of the entire world, and for you to, I disagree with you saying like plenty of people could become billionaires.
I'm saying we live in a world where a single income household can provide a very comfortable living.
Ooh.
We lived in a world back then, not now.
Okay.
I'm saying, and that was under this. I'm not gonna say the same rules because there are things that have changed since then. But what I'm saying is, let's bring back a system like that. Right?
What is that system?
Changing like regulations in the market, changing how long you can hold on. Like it's those kinds of policies that influence whether or not you become a billionaire, right? It's the tax policies that we create in the country that people can write off and do certain things, right? That's what I'm saying. Also, we live in a country that's really freaking wealthy, like really freaking wealthy. Why don't we bring in a UBI, right? I'll get liberal with you. Maybe we can relate a little bit.
It's so interesting. It's so interesting to me that we disagree on why billionaires should exist, right? But then we do agree on certain things that we want our society to have, right? And UBI, and it's like, well, how do you even provide UBI?
It's the same thing that people disagree about in terms of religion, in terms of a bunch of other topics, right? It's two sides of the same coin. We both want the same thing. We both want a society, a world where everyone's thriving. I want good things for my fellow man. Okay. The difference is I'm not going to put it on the billionaire because he played within the game to get as much money as possible. I'm saying Let's change the system itself to help the other people who aren't there.
I'm going to put it on the billionaires. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, George.
Go ahead.
I looked at statistics of the rich.
Yeah.
Then I also looked at statistics of the poor.
Yeah.
And this is worldwide. Did you know that there's a difference between poverty and extreme poverty? There's actually statistics and terms for it.
Mm-hmm. Hey, poverty in the United States is pretty good.
Poverty, dude, that's what I learned.
Poverty in the U.S. is pretty good.
Poverty in the United States, you're chilling. In worldwide, extreme poverty is people who make $1.90 US dollars, because they converted it, $1.90 less a day.
Less? No,
less than $1.90 a day.
Yeah.
A day. That's extreme poverty. You know what regular poverty is? Guess what the line is at?
$3.
$5.20 or 50 cents, I think. That's the difference between poverty and extreme poverty worldwide. Okay. And in the last 10 years, or actually, they said in the pandemic, 25 years before it, extreme poverty and poverty were trending downwards. 25 years before the pandemic.
Okay.
The pandemic hit and it changed. And now since the pandemic, it's been rising.
Is this in the United States or worldwide?
Worldwide.
There's room for a bad joke here that I don't want to make.
Oh. Could you explain? Actually, I want to be more funny. So could you explain that joke?
Well, just maybe like the reason why the percentages went down is because like post-pandemic, the population was smaller.
That doesn't track.
The math doesn't math.
Yeah, the math doesn't math.
The math doesn't math.
There's less population, but more people in poverty?
Damn, the math didn't math.
But anyways, here.
Maybe it affected the rich more. And there was less, and they inherited.
Don't try to dig yourself
Oh
out
my
of
God,
this.
that's how it happened.
Don't try to dig yourself
Inheritance.
out of this. Yeah, that's how rich people got rich.
Yeah, that's why they doubled during the pandemic. The older rich people croaked.
Nope. No, because it's the same 10 people, top 10 people who are living before and after the pandemic.
Just let them build their rockets, bro.
Extreme poverty today is 9.2% of the world lives in extreme poverty.
Makes sense.
Now, poverty, I want to remind you, it's $5.50 a day. Anyone who makes that and between $1.90 and $5.50, guess how much percentage of the population of the world makes that?
Okay. 90% is in extreme poverty. Probably like 60%.
Oh, that's pretty huge. 40%.
Okay.
40% of the world makes $5.50 a day.
Yeah, but it goes a long way in their country.
Oh, that's the bad joke.
No, it's not a bad joke. It's true.
That's the bad joke.
$5 a day goes a long way.
That's the bad joke, George.
Oh my God. Dude, I'll talk about my own country, right? Go to Egypt, bro. Give them $1. They'll do anything you want.
Because there's, not to say it's a third world country, but even like my own Philippines is considered a third world country.
Calling Egypt a third world country?
If you
we might be. I'm not sure.
If you can survive in certain countries with $100 and be there for 6 months, that's pretty bad because US owns 800 billionaires. And that's why it costs freaking $7 for 10 McNuggets.
I got a question, but maybe I'll save it for the end because I want to.
Oh, you want to ask at the end?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's the disparity of what's happening in the world, right? 40, it was like what? 40, almost half the population is living in poverty or extreme poverty.
Okay.
Of the entire world. Oh,
be better.
I don't like that. Okay. The nonchalant, like, and 0.00034%.
0.00000
owns half the money of the world.
Right. That's only 0.00003, right?
Oh, it's just better than 0.00002?
No, I'm just, yeah.
You say you're looking at the bright side?
Look at the bright side.
Oh, that's horrible. Well, I wanted to think about solutions and I could only think of taxing. I know you hate it and you look at me and you're like, you socialist, you Bernie Sanders fan club leader, which I am. You know, he's a cool guy. But Oxfam ran the numbers. That site, we give you information. Oxfam, they said if the 1% got taxed more than, got tax increase 0.5% more than what they do now, they could provide education to 262 million kids and provide healthcare for 3.3 million people.
That's fine by me.
That's 0.5%.
I'm not arguing with you.
And then I was like, wait, how much are they getting taxed? I read in 2014 and 2018, in 4 years, Elon Musk, your best friend,
my boy, keep my job,
paid 3% income tax.
Play the system.
In 2014 and to even like closing even to now, in Illinois, I looked at Illinois because I'm wondering how much I pay in taxes. I pay a 5% income tax.
Yeah.
My last question to you is, you still want billionaires?
Yeah.
It's just horrible.
Bro, why are you blaming them? They're playing the game.
Horrible. Where's the ethics? Where is the morality? How can you think it's cool to have billions and billions of dollars when half the world is living in poverty?
I'm cool with raising taxes.
But I want to get rid of billionaires.
I mean, that doesn't get rid of them. That just means that they have a higher burden to pay on society, which I'm cool with.
No, but then to tax them would only, even if we wanted the tax that we want,
sure,
that I want, maybe even you want, it would only support the United States poverty.
Sure. Right.
Worldwide.
One problem at a time.
50%.
One problem at a time.
Okay? What do you need billions of dollars for?
Out, right. Again, you say it as if we need to like strip these people and like take their money.
Yes.
Disagree with that.
Agreed. Take it away.
Taxing is not the same thing. Right?
Yeah, I know.
Taxing is saying, hey, like society has requirements. Here's what we need from you to carry like your weight.
Agreed.
Cool. I'm good with that.
Okay.
My whole point, and one of the things that like, okay, let's rewind because I want to say this. I want to say this the right way.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
When you tax someone, you are basically saying, hey, you are a member of the society. As a member of society, you have to contribute X amount.
Okay.
Okay. I pay taxes, you pay taxes, everyone pays taxes.
Okay.
If the person who writes the tax code is the government, which I've said, they're the ones who can change the rules to the game, right? Now, your solution was more taxes. That's literally having the government change the rules.
To the US problem.
Correct. And I'll talk about the world in a different problem, right? Because I think we handle that differently, honestly. I think the way that you help people around the world is through education and providing them with resources that they don't always have.
Resources.
Not money.
That resources. Is literal resources.
Allow them to build their own. I don't want to get into other countries now. There's a lot of countries that each should have their own individual like strategy.
You know, my thing is, United States of America is awesome, right? But before they kick me out. It's awesome. It's amazing. It's cool.
Don't piss me off.
Oh, George, please don't. Please don't deport me. I can show you my passport.
Aren't you leaving soon?
The United States, I don't look at it as my tribe.
Sure.
And so, yeah, I would like to fix poverty in the United States. But I also, when you say fellow man and fellow woman, fellow child, I think of the entire world because we are all brothers and sisters, right? Not to get religious. Sure. So I would like to fix that problem of the world living in poverty. I'm
good with that. I'm all for helping the world.
And we strip the money from the billionaires to do it.
But you have to fix your home before you can fix another's home, correct?
Their home is their homes. Sorry, plural. There are many homes are fixed.
Everybody in the world sharing one home.
The billionaires' homes, all 75,000 of them are fixed, George. Don't worry about it.
Here's how I think that, here's like an analogy that I can. This happened back in the 2016 election when Hillary and Trump were going like in a debate, right?
Okay.
And she goes, he doesn't want to show his tax returns because he doesn't want to show that he's taking advantage of these crazy tax blah, 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 blah. That's saving him billions of dollars.
True.
And he goes, yeah, I am. You wrote the rules.
You're doing it too.
You're doing it. All your friends are doing it.
That's a Spider-Man meme on the debate.
I hang out with your donors. They tell me that they do it.
Yeah.
You just don't want to change it for them. Right. And that's what I'm saying is, but once we start actually changing the rules, right?
I just like, your point was, I don't know what the story of the analogy was, because you said you had the analogy.
They're taking advantage of the rules.
Okay.
To put money in their pocket.
Okay.
it's the rule, right? Change the rule, they can't take advantage of it anymore.
It's greed.
Sure.
Okay, sure, there's laws and the greedy can take advantage of those laws. You can't just put it on the law. There's also two people in that situation. There's the person taking advantage of it that needs to also make changes. And yes, the law also needs to be changed.
So you want the billionaire person to make the moral and ethical decision to just put money in what they believe to be a good thing or a right thing or like whatever it is, right?
Yes.
But what I'm telling you is, even remember the analogy that we talked about a couple minutes ago, where the poor person who's in a retail store and he sees two products, both identical, one made in China,
sure,
using labor, blah, 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 right? That person is going to make the best decision for themselves in that moment.
I agree, but you cannot make the analogy of someone who's living $40,000 a year as a teacher in the United States of America versus someone who has more money than 99% of the world.
So you want them to have a higher moral compass than the remainder of the population.
Not so much. Yes, they have a higher responsibility because of the power they own.
Okay, we're going with the Spider-Man now just because more power.
But you're saying ethics on a higher level, because you can't compare the ethics of me picking between a $7 shirt and a $5 shirt versus making decisions up there at the highest level, which affect the entire world.
And that's where I disagree with you. Because I do disagree. I think our ethics, our morals as human beings that define us, it's the same reason why you have billionaires who like Bill Gates, who decides to put his money in fixing malaria and a bunch of other things. And you have billionaires who are selfish and want to do it selfishly, right?
I think that's so wrong. It's so wrong to think they're not doing anything wrong because they're just playing the rules of the game.
I'm not saying like it is what it is, man. Like don't expect me to look out for other people if I'm not like, if the expectation, like tell me, change the rule.
That's horrible. And that's not as empathetic as I think I want billionaires and other people to be.
Of course. And I would love for everyone to be empathetic.
Yeah.
Right?
And just because you say, oh, look, my neighbor or the CEO or whatever, all these rich people, just because they're not empathetic, but I'm not going to do it because like they're just playing the game, the rules. And I'm going to join too so I can find my success in money and whatever. It's like, no, we have morals and I think people should stick to it because we should look out for one another.
And some billionaires do and some billionaires don't.
If you're a billionaire, you do not.
Period? Because I can name you plenty of billionaires that do.
Period. You could give away all your money.
They do.
Losers, you greedy.
They do. There's billionaires
greedy
that do. Warren Buffett.
I don't know if I'm going to bleep all that, but
you might want to.
Yeah, I probably will.
Otherwise, their morals won't let you.
I know. Well, that was the end of my segment. I will probably carry this energy into my next topic. So sorry if I'm angry, Justin. Is that something you want to watch?
Listen, Justin, from the bottom of my heart, I want to let you know that you've changed my mind.
No, that's all front-end for you guys.
You've changed my mind. You've made me realize
this is bullshit.
That billionaires are bad people.
And don't believe a word this guy is saying right now.
I changed my mind completely. Everything I said on the podcast is now altered.
That the entire hour and 15 that just happened. Judge that, and not these last 10 minutes.
Leave a comment down below about who you agreed with. And if you agree with me, I'll change my mind again and go back to the...
Keep leaving negative comments.
Yeah. To the guy who thinks we're Indians. Like,
I mean, it's cool if you were, but sorry, we're not.
Like, I don't know. Well, hey, thank you guys for tuning in on this episode of the podcast. It's been fun. It's been fun watching the channel.
It's been a great one.
Yeah. And we hope you learned something today. If not, we hope you laughed, and we'll catch you in the next one.
See ya.
Peace.